I would like to say that my priority during my 20-odd years of my GP practice was, first of all, do no harm. I took that rule with me to my health minister's office. In situation when I was recommended a medicine to anybody, I believe, just like any other practitioner, I would think, would I give it to my elderly mother, my child? And exactly such thought make me very cautious about double-checking the information regarding a medicine that health ministry is to recommend to every Pole. To millions of Poles that have no medical education that a minister has, that an expert, Professor Brydak, has, an expert that has been working on flu for over 40 years, he works in one of 189 flu research centers that are in the world. One is in Poland. Can we today be accused of lack of knowledge about the flu? Can one question an opinion of a professor that has been working on flu for over 40 years, and not just on one type of flu, that has published hundreds of articles on the subject? I have just one fundamental question. Do we want to fight the flu pandemic? Today we have a knowledge about enclosures and agreements that other, much governments of wealthier countries have signed with vaccines producers. Also, we know that what was proposed to Poland, due to negotiations being in progress, I can't tell all today. But I can tell one thing. Our law department found at least 20 points of doubt in the agreement. So what is the health minister's duty? To sign agreements that are of best interest to the Polish people, or to sign agreements that are of best interest to the pharmaceutical companies? I know that there are 3 vaccines available on the market today, of 3 different producers. Each have a different amount of active substance, and yet, strangely, they are all treated the same. Therefore, isn't it fair enough for the health minister and the experts to have the slightest doubts about it? Maybe the one with trace amount of active substance is just a holy water that we suppose think that can cure flu. Are we supposed to pay for that? We have an example of Germany that bought 50 million jabs. Only 10% have been applied so far. 13% of Germans want to take this miraculous cure today. But it is peculiar because the Germans have a very high percentage of vaccine takers. So when in Poland, for 1,000 people, only 52 will take a seasonal flu jab. In Germany, there will be 238 for 8,000. That's 23%. So what happens that only 13% of Germans want to take the swine flu vaccine and not 23% of the population? As usual with seasonal flu, their government bought the vaccines and offered them for free, and they don't want it. What happened? Can those facts make us have second thoughts about buying the vaccines or not? Second thoughts about introducing a medicine that is kind of secret? There are websites on which vaccine producers have an obligation to publish so-called post-vaccinational unwanted side effects. The vaccinations in Europe started on 1st of October, 2009. I would like you to visit any of these websites and find any unwanted side effect, any slightest thing, at least one, like allergical skin rash. That can happen even with using a safest medicine. There are none on those websites. A perfect medicine. There are none. And since this is so miraculous, then why the producing company doesn't want to introduce their medicine to the free market and take responsibility for it? Why wouldn't they say, wonderful, safe medicine, therefore I will take responsibility for it. I will introduce it to the free market and everything is clear and transparent, instead of dropping the weight on us, the buyers. We do not have a clinical test results, no detailed ingredients, no information about side effects. The vaccines are now in the 4th stage of test, very short test, and we still do not have this information. All the sample has been very little. One kind of vaccine was tested only on 160 volunteers, ages 20 to 60, all healthy, not infected. Another kind of vaccine tested on 600 volunteers, aged 18 to 60, all healthy. Is this good enough? Especially for us doctors here in this room? It is not good enough for me. I want to be sure enough to recommend this vaccine. We are not out of the line for the vaccine. During the negotiations, we want to take that time and use it to find out as much as we can about the vaccine. Then if the pandemic committee will accept this vaccine, we will buy it. Also, there are 1 billion people with seasonal flu worldwide every year. 1 million dies of seasonal flu worldwide every year. And it hasn't been going for a year or two, but for a very long time. Has anybody anywhere announced a pandemic because of seasonal flu? And the seasonal flu is much more dangerous than that swine flu. There are even deaths and severe complications. Was there any pandemic announced? Those who push on me to buy vaccines, I asked you, why didn't you scream and shout last year, 2 years ago in 2003? In 2003, there were 1,200,000 Poles having seasonal flu. Has anybody shouted here in this room, let's buy vaccines for everybody? I can't recall such a thing. And finally, I would like to say one thing. Polish nation is very wise. Poles can tell the truth from lies very precisely. They can also tell what is an objective situation and what is just a game.